So now we look at exactly the same transit field, but with different eyes from the individual perspective. And there, of course, we have to look at more different variations. We will start in the same way, addressing the constants of the quarter first. So we have our Pluto in 61. And of course, as a transit on personal level, the people who are mostly affected by that are the 24s. So if you have 24 at the Ajna, you have the returning, you have mentally the challenge to transcend an old knowing, arriving at a new one. But the mechanic in that consists in that before you can do that, you have to meet the empowered old pattern. That means Pluto in the 61 will actually also bring you questions, of course. That will be partly the dominant questions of the collective, because nobody can avoid that totally. But additionally, it also could be your own, your private not knowing that is important for you. What shall I do with my job? What shall I do with my relationship? This kind of very personal stuff. And yet that is important for you. Therefore, the not knowing, I'm not sure what I should do now, becomes a pressure, and then goes to the 24. And the 24, not different from the collective, will bring to the surface your old answers, whatever they are. That depends from life history. So maybe you go to a counselor, maybe you try to get some information, maybe you talk with your friends. So whatever you are doing, the first thing that turns up will be an old pattern, an old knowing, so to speak, in order to try to solve the question from above. And also very similar to what we have talked about in the collective, you will find out at some point that it doesn't work, because that is something nobody else really can help you with. I mean, after all, it is about inner truth. Inner truth, we could also call a personal truth, my own knowing. And you cannot get your own knowing from somebody else. So at some point, there is the potential that these old patterns, they have been activated by that, in fact will mutate. And then comes that glorious moment of an insight that is experienced as a knowing, meaning it feels very convincing, but at the same time be aware, there is no guarantee that it is true in the objective sense. It is a mental knowing. And the challenge is that you never know with the mind. You really do not know with the mind. So that would be the one thing. Generally speaking, from the mechanic, we have to understand that the turning up of the old pattern is a necessary step for transcendence, because a pattern can only mutate if it is activated. Therefore, that returning of the old is not a problem. You need to fight. It is an opportunity. You need to wait out, because the mutation you cannot make anyway. In no place of your body graph, not even in the mind. The mutation is described as a natural process, but nothing you can do. And this leads us back to the question. As the 61, by its nature, is the gate of mystery and secrets, meaning very fascinating questions. And as Pluto is this planet of the dark and the hidden and the suspicion, even if you have the 24, it does not save you from being attracted by very mysterious, dark and hidden stuff your mind can get totally obsessed with. Remember, it works in pulses. If you get the full channel by the transit, it is a channel that works in pulses. That means if it's on, it really can be a total obsession. And it can be so convincing. And then you stay with it because you have to know and you must know and you have to find out. And it's, well, not even leading nowhere. It can lead you into the mental darkness. You have to understand the question determines the possible outcome.